Hey, welcome. All right, I'm gonna just we'll let the people stroll in. Of course, we'll share this recording afterward. My name is Krish Dhokia. Welcome back to I think this is webinar 8 of our Brokers Market Better series here at Kind TPO. Just wanted to welcome all of you. It looks like we've got a smaller group today, but that's fine. Happy Wednesday, April 17th. So today, over the last couple of weeks, we've been sharing a lot about, just marketing in general, but just different components of marketing. If you haven't already, we just launched a brand new episode of the Krish Marketing Podcast, which features a broker named Samir, and we're talking about in-person networking. And I found that a really fun and interesting topic to talk about. Today, we are going to dive into marketing, measuring, reporting, analytics, all that kind of stuff, and why it is so important. A marketing team of any size or an individual that is marketing should really be honed in on data around marketing and making sure it's effective, but not only effective, that you're able to increase your marketing visibility with the data that's provided so that you're not just talking to nobody, that your marketing efforts aren't falling on deaf ears, and ultimately converting into new loans, right? So that you're able to continue to create pipeline business and create loyal super fans, if you will, of your audience. So we're going to get right into it. Welcome, Peter, Melanie, Fidel. I think I've seen you guys on some previous ones, so I'm glad to have many of you back. Rita's joining as well. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to talk again about marketing, measuring, and reporting today. Give me just a second. I'm going to try to reduce my screen a little bit. Exit full screen. Okay. All right. So here are the topics that we're going to talk about today. Why measuring is important, your marketing effectiveness, the 7 key performance indicators or KPIs that you need to know as mortgage brokers as you continue to build your marketing reporting specifically. And then we've got a slew of tools that you can get right into. Many of them are free, some of them are paid, and we'll talk about that as well. So first and foremost, why is measuring important? When I got into marketing, I will say there wasn't a whole lot, right? 20 plus years ago, there was a lot of guessing that was happening. Even the big brands like maybe Coca-Cola, right, as a big brand, would go out there and do marketing, but they were doing very general type of marketing, right? Television, radio. The billboards are hard to track. You can just say, okay, 10,000 cars passed this billboard. But with television, there were metrics, and that's why they chose television, to see how many viewers during prime time and commercials and all that kind of stuff, and getting into your ROI. And so we drop a couple of acronyms. You've heard them all. ROI isn't just specific to marketing, but let's talk about why marketing is important, or measuring your marketing is important. It can show you your marketing success, right? Whether it's a social graphic as simple as, or an email campaign that you've launched, the measurements will allow you to see the success of it. It will also supercharge your ROI, right? So again, in years past, you could throw something at the wall, see if it sticks, and if it does, then you think, okay, it's worthwhile. But it's not just about having return on your investment; it's supercharging it, right? And you do that, you master that through A/B testing and continuing to enhance the messaging of the copy, of the graphics, or what have you, to create more leads or retain more business or lock more business or whatever it might, or getting them business away from your competition, getting more market share. Justify your marketing spend. And I think that, and we've spoken about this in previous webinars as well, as an independent mortgage broker, as a, whether you're the leader of your team or the actual broker, it's really justifying how much each person spends, or as you as a company spends on the marketing. And you don't obviously want to earmark budget for marketing that may not or doesn't always equivalate to new loans, right? And that's the number one milestone that we can get as far as a conversion is funded loan. So justifying where you're going to spend it. There are some places where it's just about brand, and others where other spend that's going to be contributing to the growth of your business. Gaining valuable data, and this is one that a lot of folks struggle with because there are so many places, repositories of data that you have to collect from, and how do you manage all that, right? Like, for example, your Facebook data, your Instagram data, your email data, that's going into multiple platforms to gather this information, and it could be a huge time suck as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Then lastly, gaining key customer insights. You want to know how the recipient, the end recipient of your marketing is absorbing your content, and what actions they're taking. And again, you have to dig deep onto customer journeys and the data that's provided there. So moving right into marketing effectiveness. Okay. So marketing effectiveness, the two vernaculars put together, is relatively, it's been around for a while. People have been talking about marketing effectiveness as part of measurement and analytics for quite some time. Only recently, in the past couple of years, have people started adding it to their strategy, right? So if you're building your marketing plan for the remainder of this year and going into 25 even, because I guess people are already starting to plan for 25, I hope. Marketing effectiveness could be that strategy that has the, I guess, goals and tactics underneath them, right? And so here's a list of marketing effectiveness. And I'm going to talk about marketing effectiveness in these respective categories. Okay, so first, you have your return on investment, or ROI. Hopefully, all of you have heard of ROI, and if not, here it is. So, specific to marketing, it's going to help you measure the effectiveness and allow you to determine whether your marketing efforts are generating kind of like a positive return on your investment, right? So by tracking the effectiveness of your marketing campaigns and your social media channels and what have you, or your email channels, you can then optimize your budget and allocation, and focusing on the strategies that offer the highest return on making investments. So just like I aforementioned, is that, you can drop, based on your ROI and your measurement of those ROI, of those tactics rather, you can drop the ones that aren't producing, right? And I think that's the ultimate goal is, you can't obviously just have one campaign or one email that you're measuring, because you have to measure it against the others. And so, for example, if you have an email campaign with 15 emails, hypothetically, that are centered just around VA or FHA products, once the emails have run through, you are able to then say, okay, you know what, out of these 15 emails, 10 of them were superstars, meaning the open read rate and click through was good numbers, and there's benchmark numbers available out there at like average email open read rate should be somewhere generally between like 20 to 30%. And you can say, okay, this one only had 10%. So you can take a look at that email and say, okay, guess what? That was a waste of my time. I'm not doing that one again. Or, hey, I need to brush up on that copy or the graphic or the subject headline or whatever. So making those, and moving right into the second piece is decision making, right? Measuring the effectiveness of your marketing provides the data-driven insights, right? And aids you in making those informed decisions, okay? It helps you identify which strategies are and are not working. So it might feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, because it is super, super important. All of these tools is what makes marketing effective, right? The effectiveness of marketing. The accountability, right? So again, measuring your marketing effectiveness helps you hold you or your marketing manager, if you have one, holds you or them accountable. Okay, as a leader, as a mortgage broker, as an independent mortgage broker, if you're having a third party person manage your marketing, it's to hold them accountable, right? What is the marketing effectiveness? You should ask them frequently to provide a report, or if you're doing it yourself, same thing, right? Hold yourself accountable based on, the accountability that here promotes the culture of continuity of improvement. It's not just, again, the whole, I've just got to have a social media platform. I just have to post frequently and consistently. It's the continuity of always improving in what you're doing. And so that's really important. And that's why data is such a big conversation, not just in our industry, across every industry, not just marketing. It is the accountability piece. Okay, optimization and improvement. Again, measuring your marketing effectiveness is going to provide valuable data for you to optimize and improve. But it's not just getting the data. You have to analyze it, analyze the metrics, right? You have to identify areas for the improvement and make a plan to be better on those fronts. Constantly refining and enhancing those initiatives to achieve better results. We are a results-driven business, and what, as a marketer myself and my team, we continue to refine on all of our marketing initiatives. But what makes it difficult in mortgage is that all the ebbs and flows that exist as well, right? So I'll give you a perfect example today that, while we might have this marketing campaign, all of a sudden there might be this release by Fannie and Freddie about, whatever, right, based on the NAR settlement, and that might then become precedence over what you're doing. So then, how do you continue to stick to it? It's a very rigorous song and dance in the mortgage marketing space, which leads me to, lastly, a competitive advantage. If you are marketing today, you think you've got a really good hold of your marketing and all the tactics that you're using, this measuring marketing effectiveness is going to help you gain competitive advantage over the others that are not, right? The folks that didn't take the time to join this call. But by understanding what marketing strategies are most effective for you, you can obviously then outperform your competitors. It allows you to stay ahead of all the curves and all of the changes in the social platforms and identifying trends, technologies, or tactics. It's really being in the know all the time. So someone said this to me the other day, is be where your feet are, right? Or be where you are on social. Just because you schedule something on Facebook, but not knowing if the engagement levels are high or low, that is a disadvantage. So taking advantage of data to put you out front. So that's marketing effectiveness as a whole. I strongly suggest that as you plan maybe your second half of the year, or even your this current second quarter marketing plan, that start weaving in the marketing effectiveness. It doesn't suffice to just say, hey, I'm going to create a strategy around reporting, because that's not, who needs another spreadsheet, right? It's the marketing effectiveness, is that you're building a strategy around it, and the goals and tactics to follow that is going to help you improve. And that's what it's all about. It's all of you are already marketing, I'm guessing, I'm hoping. But now it's time to, supercharge that whole initiative. It's not just reporting, it is utilizing that data to do better and do more. Okay, so next piece I wanted to really kind of talk about is KPIs. And when I got into marketing all those years ago, everyone threw all of these acronyms at me, right? So KPIs stands for key performance indicators. And again, both ROI and KPIs, while it's used frequently in marketing, applies to a lot of other areas of your businesses as well. But I'm going to talk about the KPI and the metrics and the importance of it. All right. So impressions. So impressions are basically just the basic, it's who's, okay, let me take a step back. For example, if you post a post on LinkedIn, you have your engagements, people liking it and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's really how many people saw it, okay? And most social platforms today have the ability to tell you the impressions component of it, to see how many people were fed it in their feed and actually kind of looked at it and was paused there for a certain whatever seconds. Impressions also in the email world relate to time spent on the email, websites, time spent on your web page. So while impressions is a kind of a blanket vernacular, it does apply to multiple types of marketing deliverables and platforms. Number two, a great KPI that you ought to be tracking is search engine rankings. Okay, so the misinformation out there that Google is the only search platform is not true. I mean, obviously you have Bing, you have Yahoo, you have Alta Vista, you have a number of them out there, and just because Google search is the #1 search platform now today in the United States doesn't mean that there are other platforms out there that you could be ranking yourself on. A perfect way to figure out some high level without using Google Analytics, is just using Google search to tell your ranking, is type in, say, your company name, right, into the Google bar, and see where you show up. But a really good one is your website domain name, right? So if you put in krishdhokia.com, it will tell you how fast the website populated, right? So it's like 0.003 seconds, whatever it shows up. And then it'll show how many search results are attached to your domain name, okay? There's a couple of different things that I like to do. I'm one of those people that buys domain names. I have hundreds of domain names. I haven't ever done anything with it, hold it hostage for someone I don't know. But GoDaddy, for example, right, is where I buy a lot of my domain names. It'll give you the value of your domain, and with that, it'll tell you why. So it will say, okay, your domain name is worth $300 because of the traffic that it generates or the content that exists on it. But also that it will kind of dig deep onto, well, not super deep, high level of, why it's valued that, right? So it'll give you like, okay, there's so many articles that mention this domain name or whatever. Search engine rankings also are, again, there's a lot of misinformation, right? Because if you don't show up on search engine, Google, for example, as #1, you're like, okay, why am I not even showing up? There's many reasons, right? If you have a name like John Smith, good luck. Like if you're searching yourself, good luck, right? But there's other factors that play into it, right? People that are running Google ads and how much they're paying for it. There's a lot of news today about the addition of Gemini on Google and their AI platform and how that's truly going to affect the rankings. So it's an ever evolving landscape, but it should be a KPI that you are measuring today. That is subject to change as far as priority and importance. Or what KPI we replace it with. But I would definitely check that out. You could also utilize YouTube and call it a search engine, by the way, because it is. because it's attached to Google, and it's kind of built into its own algorithm as well that's outside of Google but attached to it. So search engine rankings, important KPI. Click-through rates, obviously. You have emails, you have social posts. You should be linking back to your website, to a blog post, or to something, apply now, whatever. That is a really good metric to measure, right? Because just because 1,000 people saw your social post and 100 people liked it, but only one person clicked through, or was there even a place to click through, right? If you're sending an email, you want to make sure you have links back to you, not just in the footer where your headshot and your contact information is. Within the body of the email, you should have some place driving them somewhere else into your own environment, right? You want to take them out of that email or out of that social platform and deliver them to your website, okay? So click-throughs are very important. That's the closest milestone, unless you have a very complex customer journey built out on your website. It is the closest thing that you're going to get to clicking on the button of applying now, right? The click-through rate is closer to your conversion milestones. Cost per click, right? So this is applicable if you're running ads, Facebook ads through Meta, right, or Instagram, or Pinterest, or wherever YouTube, wherever you're posting ads. You want to make sure that the cost per click is not super high, right? So if you are running a lead gen ad on social media, at what point does it become does the ROI not make sense, right? So, I'm just going to throw this out there. You're running $100 a week ad on Facebook, and you're generating one lead, right? Sorry, not even one lead. Let's not even talk about the lead cost per click. So you ask them to go to your website, and it's costing you $5 to drive them to your website. Is it worth it, right? I mean, ideally, you'd like to do it for free, but if you're running an ad, that's where that KPI really comes into play, is you want to drive more clicks to drive the cost down for the ad. So that really goes into making sure the ad is tailored for the audience with the right copy and messaging and the right visual. Okay, conversion rate. We love that one because our easiest conversion rate is a KPI that is relative to a number of things. The first couple of ones, that's part of your conversion rate equation, but your conversion rate in the mortgage industry obviously is, did they apply, right? Did they lock? Did they fund, right? It used to be like 1099 and then ERLA or whatever, like pre-qual and pre-approval. So however you want to stage those conversions and then measure against them, super important. And that's also in your pipeline, right? You're already converting and measuring conversions there. But when you're marketing and you generate this lead, you want to attach that value to it. Customer acquisition cost. So a lot of these things like cost per click, especially if you're running ads, how much money did it totally cost you to acquire that customer through your marketing efforts, right? And those metrics are pretty bare bones until you decide what equivalates that acquisition cost. So many of them make the mistake, many marketers make the mistake of just saying, okay, I ran this ad, but you have to also think about it a little bit deeper and backtrack to the point of conception of the ad, right? Like, okay, how much did it cost? How much time did I spend? Did I have it professionally designed? How much did that cost? All of those things, that becomes your actual acquisition cost, not just if you paid for an ad or you paid for a billboard or a streaming ad on TV or whatever. It's the end-to-end cost of the acquisition of that customer, because then you can only then measure it against the profit of that, or the bips and all that kind of stuff. So lastly, return on investments. I promise you, ROI is such a huge topic. It's almost on every slide through this webinar. Okay, so moving right into the next piece. Sorry, I'm a little blocked up today with congestion, but marketing reporting. Again, reporting effectiveness, all of that is kind of tailored to this conversation. It's all one and the same, but breaking out the reporting component of it, another spreadsheet that our mortgage brokers have to look at probably, but going into the next slide there, it's just a collection of data. That's really all it is. It's different marketing from different marketing sources. It presents performance of your business, including those KPIs, and should include information on the strategy and the marketing research. So I'm going to throw this out there. As a company at Kind, we use a platform called Sprout Social. Okay. And it's a couple $100 a month. But it is, we use it to schedule all of our social media, all of that stuff. But one of the really cool things about this platform, there are others. Sprout Social is one, Hootsuite is another. And while you would think it's just for social media scheduling, which it is, it has the ability to integrate or connect to so many other platforms. I mean, Glassdoor, Google Analytics, Indeed. If you're recruiting, all of these different places, you can pull in the data that's available there into one environment. And so that saves us time, right? Like we talked about, is it the best use of your time going to all these platforms and downloading reporting? And if you were even really, really good and about your time management and were able to do it, you'd probably only do it once a month. But by using a platform like Sprout Social or Hootsuite, and this is not an ad for either, you are able to see it in real time. Okay. So you can see all the activity that's happening. You can then take it a step further. When I was talking to market research, I'm talking about competitor insights. Okay. You want to know what the mortgage broker in your respective community or the ones that you keep going up against is doing as far as marketing. Now, it's not going to tell you what that other company is doing is by way of email. I'm talking about from a digital online experience. You can pull in your competitors' insights as well. We do that frequently. Okay. And you can go in real time to say, man, what is, the John Smith mortgage broker down the street? What are they doing? Right. On digital, on social, how are they beating me to the punch every time? Oh, guess what? And you can see their feed. You don't have to go on Facebook at that point to see what it is that they posted. You can see their number one post was offering, whatever, a VA thing, or, hey, they're promoting this, Realtor Association golf tournament that they've been sponsoring. And then you have that insight, right there in front of you to say, hey, I want to be a sponsor over there as well, right? Or, man, I need to be brushing up on my VA marketing or whatever. So using insights, and again, this is decision-making 101 from that perspective. There isn't a whole lot of, there aren't a number of free tools that that aggregates all that data in one place for you. So that is an investment that you may need to make just so that and only if you're serious about it, right? Like, don't just sign up for it. Just because it's automated, there is a level of dedication to it as well, right? You still have to go in and integrate all of those platforms and add all these things and figure out who your competitors are. And that still takes time. But once you've completed that and continue to build that regimen around your marketing needs and the strategies and measuring the effectiveness, it will get easier over time as well. Okay. Last but not least, I promised some tools, and then we'll share these over to the Brokers Market Better Facebook group as well.
But here's a list. These are all images, so don't get mad. But these are the best ones, you guys. But not the only ones. I should definitely say it's the Google Analytics. It's free. That's a free one. Get a Gmail account, set it up. It walks you through on how to add the key, the Google Analytics key ID, whatever, to your website. If you're using someone else to build your website, then you should reach out to them and have them connect it. It right away, I think within a couple of hours of setting it up, it will start giving you real-time analytics. The easy one is, I mean, there's real time and then there's like performance dashboards as well. So you can set it up to do whatever you need it to do. HubSpot, it's not just a CRM, it has other things and other tools, and HubSpot has a number of tools in there where you can, just like Sprout Social and what's the other one I mentioned? Sprout Social and Hootsuite, very similar. Mixpanel, don't know too much about that one. It did come up as a top. But the ones I do want to focus on real quick is Facebook, or which should really say Meta, right? So Meta, if you're using Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, I forget what else they have. It gives you all of the free analytics right there. They have an entire dashboard built in. Hootsuite's there. I did mention that one. Sprout Social is not on here. Social analytics is a good one. I've used that pretty often. The top two that are paid is Buffer and SEMrush. SEMrush can get pretty pricey, you guys, but SEMrush can take an even deeper breakdown of your competitor analytics. So for example, if I have SEMrush today, I could go out and tell you all of the ad spend that your competitor has done, right? So it will tell you how much they spent on TV and media, but it'll also dig deep onto not just Meta ads, right? There's a transparency factor on all these platforms where you as a consumer can technically find out what ads they've run, right? It's part of the CFPB protocols after Cambridge Analytica several years ago, is any ads being run by social media should be available. Okay, so Domo is a pretty cool platform, but my suggestion for any of you that are trying to take that next step on measurement, effectiveness, and reporting, start by getting your Google Analytics set up. Geek out in it a little bit. There's tons of YouTube tutorials on cool things you can do with Google Analytics. It's really about understanding how your audience is reacting, what actions they're taking, and then if they are converting, right? It's that journey. And you can dig deeper into that journey as well to say, oh, they went to my website and they lulled around a little bit and then they clicked on apply now. Again, let's all be 100% on the same page here. Just because you drove them into your environment, onto your website, doesn't mean they're going to click on the apply now button, right? It's the number one thing that people do on our mortgage websites, but if they're not ready, they're not ready. So what other content have you built on your website to have them learn more about the products or watch a video, read a blog, right? You want to create an environment that's conducive to spending more time on your site so that they feel comfortable with you, learn more about you, your company, and what have you, and then click on the apply now. They're never going to be always ready. You should at least have another form to capture information. I think the next webinar, I don't know that we have the topic set up yet, but I am going to talk about forms and why it's important, right? And what information to capture that's not obviously what information you can capture that is compliant. Okay. So
That is the wrap up of today's webinar. Again, it will be made available. Don't forget to join the Facebook group. Don't forget to listen to the podcast, the Krish Marketing Podcast. Again, we just had a new episode roll out on Monday. And then if you haven't already subscribed and listened to the Dell Talk podcast, so Delfino Aguilar is our Chief Production Officer here at Kind TPO. And his podcast is awesome. In fact, he had Barry Habib and Chris Rico, one of our awesome Kind ambassador account executives, on the most recent episode. So go check that out. It's available on Spotify and on YouTube podcasts. So again, thank you so much for joining. I apologize that I'm still so stuffy after a month, but I'm getting over it. And as always, stay curious and keep marketing.